Okay, so I've got a quote here that I haven't seen yet. Okay.
That's the whole game. I'd say use an accent, but I just want to hear this in your accent.
My plastic surgeon doesn't want me doing any activity where balls are flying at my nose. Thanks for that.
No, I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. Isn't that a great line, though?
It's amazing.
It's an incredible line. I mean, people out there would recognize what that is. That is obviously from Clueless. But I just, there are so many quotes from that we could have started the podcast with, but I just had to go there to start with. I mean, it was irresistible to make you say that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome to Into the Austenverse. I am David Campbell.
And I am Lisa Campbell.
And we are celebrating all things Jane Austen, the 250th year of her birth. We've done a couple of the movies and book adaptations, but first time now we're going off the beaten track slightly.
We are. We are going to 1995, Los Angeles.
Yes, we are. Back to high school, baby.
Absolutely. Before we do that, I just want to let you know that if you want to follow us on the social medias, it is Into the Austenverse on Instagram, that's the numerical 2 on TikTok. And if you want to email us, it's info@intotheaustenverse.com.
And we've been seeing all your comments as well on social media. It seems the first couple of episodes have been really great, and we really appreciate you guys loving it and, saying how silly we are and that's an appeal for you and understanding that we're actually not experts, and that's appealing too. But if you have been enjoying them, please go to wherever you find good podcasts. Don't forget to just like us and leave us a review and stars and all that sort of stuff, because that actually does make a difference to all the algorithms everywhere. Yes. Our algorithm just needs a lot of rhythm method.
Oh, God.
The algorithm method. Oh, it's another name for a podcast. I'll put a pin in that one. It's an incredible idea I've just come up with, guys.
Thank you. Moving back to high school.
Yes, I remember it well.
Yes. You went to high school in 1995?
No, sorry. I was way out by then. I was long gone. So was my long hair.
Yes. I was in high school in 1995.
Right.
Yes. And I remember on a Friday afternoon going to see Clueless with Rhiannon Mills.
Oh. From Sky News.
From Sky News.
Fabulous.
I mean, she wasn't at Sky News at the time.
Yep, Royal reporter.
Royal correspondent for Sky News.
Amazing. Please follow her.
Rhiannon Mills and I went first to Pizza Hut and then to go and see Clueless.
Did you dine in at Pizza Hut? This is important. Oh, so salad bar?
100%.
God, I miss those days.
Bacon bits on the potato salad. Best ever.
Oh, bibbity bobbity bacon. And when you received the movie, when you went with Rhiannon and you sat in, were you ready for what was about to hit you and how funny this movie really was?
Oh, there was a lot of hype about it. And yes, absolutely. It was spectacular. I didn't know that it was an adaptation of Emma at the time.
Right.
But it just stood alone as the cool movie. And we thought it was wonderful. The level of opulence that the characters lived in was insane to us. The fact that Cher and Dion would be talking on their cell phones in the school and then walking into each other and then finishing the conversation.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Cher didn't know what to do with, didn't trust a mirror, so wanted a photo taken. Oh, that was insanity.
The computer wardrobe.
I know.
Don't go past the computer wardrobe. I'm scared to show that to our daughter.
I mean, to be fair, we don't have computer wardrobe, but we do have the phones and the photos now. So it was the future.
And you can put your stuff into, like, I don't know, H&M or Zara, and you can put your photo in and you can AI an outfit for yourself. I think that's now.
This is true.
So, Cher is now everywhere.
Yes, she is.
Every Cher.
Really oversharing.
Imagine the phone bill. We're going to get on to Clueless in a second. Imagine that phone bill of them just talking next to each other. I mean, we were doing call to text back in that stage, and it was like really expensive to send a couple of words.
It's extraordinary. It was a different time.
So much money. Her dad was such a good lawyer. What was interesting about the time of this, we mentioned this in our Emma episode. When the Gwyneth Paltrow movie was being made, there were 2 other Emma projects in the works at the same time being filmed. There was the Kate Beckinsale one, which was happening in England. Mm-hmm. There was Goopy Goop doing her Emma. Lovely. And there was Clueless.
Yes. And as we talked about before, the initial idea for Gwyneth Paltrow's Emma was for it to be a modern day setting. So it was supposed to be set in the Upper West in New York, and they changed it because they heard of Amy Heckerling doing Clueless.
I'm so glad they did.
Yeah, me too.
This is just an amazing film. We watched it again recently for this. And when you have watched Emma and ingested Emma, whether it's by book or by one of the movies or the TV shows, and then you sort of put it as a composite side by side with Clueless, it's pretty honest to how Jane Austen wanted this to be.
Yes.
It's just a modern way of doing it.
Yeah. And I think that it really does stand up. I mean, there are people, journalists in particular, I think because there's been so many anniversaries of it and because it's so beloved and because it stands the test of time too, that there's constantly, every 5 years, somebody is writing a think piece about it. And there is a lot at the moment with the 250 years since Jane's birth and then the 30 years of Clueless. I mean, I was reading something from 2020, which discusses the fact that the Ringer think that this is the greatest adaptation of any Jane Austen work.
Whoa.
Which is a big call.
That is such a huge call. I mean, the Ringer loves a hot take. You know I'm a fan. Yes. I love the Ringer. But that is a super... Who wrote that? Do we know?
Jane
Austen?
Don't trust her. It was... Jane who?
It's interesting because when I was researching this, I also Googled reviews of Clueless to see what they were saying back in the day. The Guardian reviewed it again recently. They went back and re-reviewed the movie, and it was only a few months ago. For the 30th, they gave it 5 stars. And they have said, never was a title more misleading. This is a sophisticated pleasure. Clueless is something to compare with Bringing Up Baby and The Philadelphia Story, and Alicia Silverstone's final tearful scene matches and even outclasses Julia Roberts' speech in Notting Hill about being a girl standing in front of a boy. Because if you remember, she's walking through and she's thinking about Paul Rudd's character and what he's like, Josh this and Josh that. And she's like, oh my God, am I just crazy, majorly in love with Josh? And the fountain goes off and there's the shadow behind. It's a really good moment. And I kind of think he's right. And I also think in a certain way, I wouldn't say it's my favorite adaptation of all the Janes, but I think it's a perfect adaptation of Emma. What do you think?
I think it is. I have some things I'd like to discuss with you.
Oh my God! Whenever he says to me, I get really edgy. Have I done so? I'd like to apologize immediately.
Okay, let's start with what works.
Okay, what
works as an adaptation of Emma?
So if we mash them together, what works as a representation of Emma in Clueless?
For me, my favorite aspect of it is the trajectories of the stories. I think works so well. And I think that it's very satisfying. It doesn't feel crowbarred in. So therefore, when we've got things like Elton being the Mr. Elton and the relationship of Ty, our Harriet character, all of those threads weaving together so well. Yeah. And it doesn't feel at all like we're having to manipulate something in order to get that extra story in. It feels so organic, which of course is probably an indication of how good the initial source material is, and how universal these stories are and the universal the characters are. But I feel as though it works so well, and that payoff is so satisfying as a lover of Austen to watch that play out in that circumstance. So I think constantly that works so well. I think the Ty character is so beautifully drawn.
Yeah,
as well.
She's our Harriet sort of stand-in for this. And she's so great. Brittany Murphy is incredible in this movie. It's a wonderful performance.
She is amazing.
I mean, she is so great. She's so geeky. She's so worldly and so different to them. But yet feels younger than them in a strange way. Like she says to them, you guys talk like grown-ups. But yet she has more life experience than they do.
Yes, but that's what I think so interesting about the portrayal of Cher as well, seeing that through her eyes, through Ty's eyes, is that you mentioned it last week in the Emma episode regarding the fact that Emma is unworldly yet thinks she knows everything.
I'm so smart. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God, I've just started reading books again, guys, and I'm crushing it.
But it's that thing of she hasn't traveled. She thinks that she's worldly and she's not.
Which is the same with Cher here. She has everything given to her, living in this lavish house of her dad's, and it's like she doesn't really know much, but yet she's given the world,
Yes.
which is like a lot of privilege.
Absolutely. And the same thing with Harriet. So Harriet comes in here, having more experience with guys and having more experience with drugs and stuff like that. And yet it seems to be that the way that Cher and Dion go through the world is more sophisticated in some respects, but almost playing at being adults.
Yeah.
There's a different definition of what sophistication is, but yet they are so naive in many, many ways.
Everyone's playing at being an adult in this, which I think is really interesting.
Yes.
Even the Paul Rudd character who's coming in trying to learn how to be a lawyer and sort of, he's not really there yet. He's still studying, but he sort of reads Nietzsche by the pool fully dressed. It's so fascinating to me. Like how they dress. They don't dress like schoolgirls, but they do dress like, they don't wear high heels and things like that. They always wear flats.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, that's just an aside about how wonderful the actual filmmaking is, but the costuming is spectacular.
Yeah, well, that's Mona May. I read up about her. She had 63 high fashions for this movie for Cher. 63 outfits. Wow. I know. The yellow one, that yellow plaid skirt, is Jean-Paul Gaultier, and everyone thought it was somebody else.
Did he designed it?
He designed it.
Wow.
And it's just so perfect.
Yeah, it's
in fact,
stunning.
if you close your eyes and think about the movie, that's what you see.
Yeah.
You see that dress.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, I mean, and she should have got nominated for Academy Award. They were all amazing outfits in that.
Yeah, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
I also like, if we're going to go back to the sort of what's successful about the Emma and Clueless thing, is the father-daughter relationship. Even though he's not as fragile, I think, as Emma's dad, I do think that how, the character is in this movie, she's taking care of him. She's making sure he has a juice, Dad. Don't go out without your juice.
Yeah.
You've got to call your parents even though you hate it. He seems, even though he's a businessman and a lawyer and running his own company, she's having to help do the phone records for that. Like, she's constantly trying to help him. In
transposing the Mr. Woodhouse character, obviously you need to have wealth for the world to work. And yeah, that is the way that he's doing it. Yet he still feels removed in so many ways. And it is the two of them because her mother has died in a routine liposuction accident.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's in the source material.
But I think there is that does work very well. Seeing the two of them together and how that pans out. I think that's very sweet.
It is really sweet. I noticed this when we were doing all of the Emma adaptations last week as well. And I noticed it when I read Emma, is it's very specifically gendered in the writing. So the men are really side characters. They're talked about all the time. It's almost like the reverse Bechdel test. Mm-hmm. They're discussed all the time. And that was something that Austen did in the book. And it's something that Clueless does really well as well, because you are constantly in Cher's world. The monologues work really well. The internal monologues, which usually a voiceover in a movie, you might get a bit sort of like, but it works perfectly.
Well, again, I know we've mentioned the fact that we're not scholars, and we're not, but I have reached out to one. Hopefully she'll reply.
That counts.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
That's
yes.
exactly how that's how you do it, kids at home.
But one day we will start to talk about free and direct speech and the manner in which Jane Austen wrote her novels and sort of pioneered this way that really it's so difficult to discuss now because it's so synonymous with how we would always expect novels to read.
Yeah, I've read about it, but I still don't know how to describe it. But she pioneered it for Emma.
Well, she pioneered it. It's in Sense, Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice as well.
Oh, true.
What's so useful about it is that we are seeing things through Emma's eyes for the most part. So in the novel, for example, when the narrator sees Mr. Elton and Harriet together, we are told that the lovers were there. So that it refers to them as the lovers. We as the reader know that they're not the lovers, but we're seeing it through Emma's perception of the relationship between Mr. Elton and Harriet. What the voiceover gives us is that world again.
That's right.
So we're seeing that. So there is a truism in having that voiceover and seeing Cher's perspective, even if it's not the true perspective or if it's at odds with what we as the viewer are watching. Sorry, was that a little bit wanky?
No, I think it's right.
Yeah.
Is it wanky? I mean, I don't think Emma questioned herself when she did that. Is this wanky?
No. I mean, it's
I
a
would
wank.
love to if she did do that. Is this a bit of a wank? No, not at all. I absolutely no. I think we have to sort of discuss it in context with this as well. The other thing I was going to ask you, we talked about with that quote about when she was talking about Jane, that is, that I wanted to write a character that wasn't very likable to begin with. And then by the end, we realize we do love her because of all those things we've discussed just then. I think Heckerling gets that right with Cher as well, because at first it is a bit like, we've got to take ourselves out of the pop culture loving of this and growing up with it and it being part of the zeitgeist. And actually going like, if you go back and analyze the film, Cher is a little bit like, removed, a bit of a LA princess. She's got the fashionable clothes. It is like, well, how are we going to like her apart from the fact that we know we should love her? It's very good filmmaking, I think.
Yes.
And it reflects back to the Austen.
Yeah, and that's also, I think that's a lot to do with Alicia Silverstone's performance too.
She's amazing in this.
Yeah, she's great.
Do you want to just take a little of a sidebar on Alicia Silverstone?
Sure.
If I talk about it outside of Clueless, in pop culture, what do you think of?
My immediate thought, this isn't what you're going to be thinking of.
This is going to be a really good test of the marriage, everybody, folks, so please buckle up. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I've got a number. Can I just say a few? Or you want me to just say one thing?
You can say whatever there's no rules here. We make the rules.
Things that pop out in my head are the fact that she is Christy's mum in the Babysitter's Club TV show.
Okay.
The Aerosmith clips.
Of course. That's how she got cast in this.
Her chewing up food and spitting it in her children's mouths.
Bingo. You went ding, 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 ding. She wins, everybody. It's exactly what I forgot about until about half an hour before we were coming here to record. I'm like, was it Alicia Silverstone? So she had a blog, right? Do you remember blogs?
I do remember blogs.
Pre-podcast, everybody. It was fashion at the time. She had a blog where she talked about, and she filmed on this very old, I'm assuming it's a camera. It's probably one of those like Sony digital cameras where she chews up the food for her son, and he's maybe 11 months old at the time. And she sort of leans into his face and she spits the food, the chewed food into his mouth. And he's like, nom, 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 nom. I mean, sure. And she posts it. Look at me chewing my food and my son being like, she didn't say this, like a little baby bird.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like.
I mean, he wasn't like, he didn't have his mouth open. She had to remind him every time. And she put it out into the world and she owned it. And she was absolute, the whole world piled on.
I mean, I'm horrified, but I think it's just, I presume that's a primordial way we would have fed our children.
Which is what she defended it as. She was like saying, look, guys, for centuries people have been doing this. This is a method of feeding. But we've developed spoons since then as well.
God.
But it really tickled me that I had to come back and I watched it again and it's still not shocking. The outrage machine back in the day was wild. I mean, if you think about how numb we are to outrage, I dream of being back in the day where we could just bully a celebrity for chewing food and spitting it in their baby's mouth. That was the one thing we would talk about for a week. Now we're just so bombarded with everything. Those were the days. We were living our lives well back then. And so was she. Look, even Jimmy Kimmel, who's now come up so much recently, he did a whole thing like, please go and Silverstone your kids. He does those Kimmel does the Halloween ones where he says,
yes.
Oh yeah, oh no, you got no candy for Halloween. He did it with kids get their food from their parents and it's chewed up nuggets. And so what we did was, kids, and you see the kids going, what? It was such a moment. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad you got there because that's what I wanted to talk about with her.
Well, there is something that you share with her and it's not that, thank God.
Thank God, I got horrified. What do I share with her?
You've both been Peter's sexiest vegan.
Oh, yeah. Peter, not Peter, a guy. No.
It is. It's some guy called Peter.
Early days of the internet. So some guy, sexy vegan. No, PETA you're mentioning. Yes. Yeah, those are the days. Once again, early days of the internet for me was a good time. But if you are watching, your name's Peter, I hope you're finding what I'm wearing very alluring today. But look, she's so wonderful in the film, though. All jokes aside and all of her past aside, It's an incredible performance. What, she's 17 years old. She's had one experience and a couple of video clips. And Amy Heckling's like, that's my Cher. And she is outrageous in this.
She is very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, she's wonderful.
She handles it all so well. Paul Rudd, by the way, still the same age as he was in this movie.
I know. Congratulations, Paul.
It's really wild seeing him like this.
Oh, he's so good. I think he's excellent in it too. He's really good. But if I was to say the one thing that I find slightly tricky in the retelling of it, the one thing that doesn't quite work for me, and this is, I want to preface this by saying I really do love the film.
Okay.
But if I'm just going to say one thing that I wish was slightly different.
Oh, I feel so tense right now.
Ooh.
The build-up is outrageous.
Oh, I've really built this up. It's not a major. I just wish that if I look back we'll look at Goop as a case study.
Please do.
We'll look at the Goop relationship, the Mr. Knightley and the Emma, and indeed in the book as well. I feel as though Emma and Knightley spar. Yeah. They are on the same level. And in Clueless, I feel as though that Cher is just, I mean, she's obviously bright, but she just feels much less smart than Josh.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure she is less smart. I think she's got incredible street smarts, considering, you know, where she is in the movie. She does things when her dad's like, where are your grades? And she's like, they're not finished yet. I have to go back and renegotiate it. They did the first offer and my grade was a lowball, Dad. And you said never to accept that. That's
very funny.
I think she has some street smarts. And then you've got the education of, you know, the Josh character, which is our Knightley sort of stand-in, where he's a bit more like, I'm at college and look at me, I'm reading Nietzsche and I like Radiohead. And what do you like, pop music? It's actually more of a sort of a class thing than it is anything else. So I don't mean to disagree, but just to defend our girl, I just think that maybe Clueless means a lot of the characters are clueless. It's not just about her. Yeah. Oh, yes. And I think... And Emma herself is clueless in the book.
She is. Yes, she is. And she's not, you know, she talks about the fact, and Mr. Knightley mocks her for the fact that she makes lists of the books that she's going to read as opposed to actually reading them herself.
Which you said was a very ADHD thing to do.
I'm not a fan of people diagnosing literary
fictional characters.
But if we're going to, Emma's got ADHD.
You think?
100%.
Tell me more. This is amazing.
Oh my God. All of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
Getting in everybody's business, causing dramas.
I mean, look, you're just listing off
your traits.
Look,
there's also a stack of books by her bed that aren't Austen. They've been there for a couple of years.
And I
call it the wishful tree of books.
There was a while ago. Do you remember when I made that Google sheet of the 100 greatest books and sent them to my best friend Richard with a hope that we were going to read them within the next 10 years?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. No, I haven't read a single one of them.
No. You feel seen by Emma, don't you?
I do.
This is good.
But I do. I mean, this
very therapeutic for you.
Yeah, this is it. And I really, really do. But if we're going to be talking about one of the most Emma scenes and one of the things that I really, sadly, do feel a lot of kinship with is the Box Hill scene. And we don't have that moment.
Yeah, badly done, Emma.
Yeah,
it's missing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, there is the moment where Cher says to her housekeeper, Lucy, I don't speak Mexican, and Josh berates her for it, which rightfully berates her for it.
Yeah, of course so. Didn't date well.
No, it didn't. But, and I suppose you can consider that to be a Miss Bates sort of...
Yeah.
You could say that.
You could.
But I think they're really missing that moment where she gets that proper being put in her place.
Well, this comes from Ty in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Where she says, like, you're just a girl who can't drive.
You're a virgin who can't drive.
A virgin who can't drive.
But it's a different thing. It's a different thing that's thrown at her to hurt her. Whereas the way that Knightley talks to Emma is the disappointment in her.
Yeah.
And the fact that she has, and again, with the Lucy situation, she's not doing that. It's not in any way appropriate that she's spoken to Lucy like that. But it's not to put someone down in order to raise herself up, like Emma does with Miss Bates.
Yeah.
And I think that that's if it had been included, it might be harder to feel for Cher. But I think that all of those things that Mr. Knightley says to Emma about, you know where you are in society, you know what you have, and for you to put her down like that that's badly done. And that, I think, is such a telling moment and such a poignant moment in the story of Emma that I think we're missing that moment.
I want to get badly done Emma t-shirts. It's my favorite quote.
I don't think he says badly done, Emma.
What does he say?
I think he just says badly done.
Badly, but we like it. Badly done, Emma. No, in one of the movies, I'm sure he does.
Oh, he does, yeah. In the Jeremy Northam, he says badly done, Emma.
Badly
done.
He whispers it too. It's so...
Badly done.
And, when you go through all the badly dones as well, which I have done a couple of times now, Northam still nails it because he's got the badly done. It's like disappointing and hurtful and whispery.
How ironic. It's the best done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I would like to talk to you about the cultural impact of Clueless.
Let's go.
Okay, so this it's had a massive impact.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was the most shocked by is some of the things that popped up. Sometimes you'll hear about, and actually that word was made up by Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those. Actually, that phrase first appeared in Clueless. So talk to us about that, because I know that you have the deets.
I've got so many of them, and there's a lot of things here. But the one you're referring to is by Donald Faison, who is incredible in this. Of course, then goes on to play Scrubs and be in that as well.
Scrubs, yeah.
He's incredible and a really, really funny comedic actor. And when he's getting his head shaved in the bathroom.
Which is an amazing scene. I love the relationship between him and Dion. I think it's fabulous.
Already had short hair anyway, but he's getting it shaved. So she's freaking out over this much hair. And he's like, I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. That is something that he says he brought to this movie because he heard it where he was from and with his, guys he used to hang out with, keeping it real. And so he brought it onto the set. Now, Amy Heckling does kind of say, oh, no, maybe I brought it. But Donald stands by it. A lot of other people stand by it too. So keeping it real came from Clueless.
Which is mad. I mean, obviously it came from somewhere else first, but in the common parlance. And now keeping it real that's just day-to-day speak.
Yeah. So much of it there's a lot of them. Okay, look. A few of them did hit, a few of them didn't hit. So I'm going to go through a whole bunch of them here. Like, look, as if.
As if?
We all did as if.
Whatever.
So that apparently is from Amy too. Amy would do that. So it came from loser to just whatever. And Amy Heckling did that. So that's
amazing.
From other cast members as well. A full-on Monet.
Yeah.
That didn't quite
land, it's good within the context of the movie.
Buggin'. That hit a lot of like noughties hip hop as well. Buggin' is around. Buggin' still bubbled away. Buggin' bubbled. Oh, Buggin' bubbled. Anyway, I don't want to get sued. Singing that song more than I have to. Okay, some things that didn't quite land though were I'm Outie. Yeah. Because Amy Heckling went to high schools. So she sat in on high schools and tried to get stuff. I think As If came from one of her gay friends though. Fat with a PH. That was the first time we kind of heard that.
Really?
Well, that's what I'm reading out there. But look, prove me wrong, internet. Okay, I'm going to surf on the crimson wave.
Yeah.
That's wild. Christian being a cake boy. A cake boy for gay. Look, I'm not saying all of them are dating well. Way harsh. I think we used way a bit.
Yes.
She's a Betty.
That's in Wayne's World.
Is that in Wayne's? Well, it's referring to the Flintstones, yeah. So one of that was like...
Oh, is it? Oh, so I married an ex-murderer.
I don't know that film as well. All I know is that you hid. Get your head out of the way.
Okay, we're getting way late here.
And he's a Baldwin. Is that an Alec thing? Because they were...
William...
Scott, Brian, so many Baldwins. I don't know. It's hard to do.
Stephen.
One of my favorite ones is the street slang quote which Donald also does really well. He said he had to practice this so hard. When he talks about street slang, he says, most of the feminine pronouns do have mocking, but not necessarily misogynistic undertone. Which is a really Austen-y sort of heckling crossover piece of writing, which I really, really love.
Yes.
But I think it has such a big pop culture impact. And this are the days as well we would have soundtracks to our movies.
The soundtrack is so good.
The soundtrack is so good for this. Unfortunately, not a lot of the Radiohead that he listens to is on this, which I would have loved. But you got Coolio, Jill Sobule, the Muffs, who only did this because their management were like, you have to be in this. And they were a punk band and they were like, well, if Radiohead are doing it and Coolio's doing it, let's do it. And they gave them a choice of 3 songs. And the one they hated the least was Kids in America. And it's an incredible version of that song.
Yeah, it's a great start, yeah.
But just times where soundtracks would sell films and it would just keep everything going. And
Mighty Boss Tones.
Mighty Boss Tones. Our kids love them.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And they're in the ball scene, really. If there is a ball.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
That scene with Ty asking how to wear her shirt.
Her sweater.
Oh, and she comes by. I love that. I love Brittany Murphy.
I know. She's so great.
She was so wonderful.
We got to meet her once.
We did. We had dinner with Brittany Murphy once.
We did.
And she was wonderful. She was
so fantastic.
Yeah.
Great dinner company.
Yeah, just chill.
Really cool stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, real sad.
We should talk about the musical.
All right, let's talk about the fact that it has been adapted by Amy Heckerling into a musical.
Yes.
At first, they just used 90s songs. So there was a version of it that went out, and I guess it was like maybe songs from the score or songs they could get cheap, which you sometimes see in those musicals that go around. Hold on.
David.
Are you reaching for something?
I am.
What are you reaching for?
I'm going to reach for our new game show. Name that clue.
What the hell? What?
Name that clue. For those of you who are listening, you can watch this on YouTube and see that I've just produced a card.
Guys, she has a secret life without me.
Yeah.
And this is very concerning. I'm going through her browser history after this.
Yeah. So you're right. So there was originally.
Wait, I got to prepare myself for this. I'm thrilled.
In 2019, there was Amy Heckerling did a version. No, you don't need it. You're the only contestant. You're fine.
Okay. I don't need a hand on the buzzer?
No,
okay.
You're fine.
Also, it was a terrible. I'm glad you got that because it was a terrible look. Can't wait for you to sign into the Austenverse OnlyFans account. It's just me. Disappointingly, with a book. Go on.
Oh my goodness. Man, the buzzer. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Amy Heckerling did a musical version off Broadway. Dove Cameron, do you know Dove Cameron?
Oh, from the Disney stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played Cher.
Great.
And the musical used, as you said, 90s songs.
Right.
They used some of the ones from the movie.
Uh-huh.
Jill Sobule.
Mm-hmm.
They also used some other songs. They licensed some other songs. But they didn't use them they didn't use the lyrics.
What?
Amy Heckerling rewrote the lyrics.
Oh my God, this is going to be amazing.
I'm going to give you the title of this song, and you have to sing back to me what that song was.
All right.
So this is one that starts as a beginning of Act 1. They're in a department store. Cher is talking about what clothes not to wear, and the title of the song is No Shrugs.
Well, it's okay, of course. No, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a kind I can't get no love
that's
from
exactly
me.
the one.
Yeah.
But you have to sing No Shrugs.
Oh, no, I don't want no shrugs. A shrug is a...
That's all you need to do. But that
What was
is
a shrug? Am I missing a fashion thing? Is that like a throw? Is it like an
like,
off-the-shoulder thing? Or
no,
and why am I doing this?
You're in the right area.
Okay.
A shrug it's like a cardigan with no body. So it sort of only sits over your arms. So it's almost like a tube of material.
Oh, I get it. Like a mini cardigan, and it's like, it's like sleeves almost.
Is. Yeah, absolutely.
Attached to the bag.
Yeah.
That's called a shrug.
Yeah.
Did not know.
No shrugs. Okay.
Do I get a point for that or a half?
You do.
Oh.
You do. Now, next, when Christian has revealed himself as a gay man, Cher sings a song. Is he bye, bye, bye?
You mean Bye 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 by NSYNC? Is he bye, bye, bye? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
B-I-B-I-B-I.
Yeah.
Which gives this a whole nother meaning as well. So, like, you know.
Yes.
Wow.
So is he bye, bye, bye?
She's got approval for this?
Apparently so.
Incredible.
But these are really, really pushing it. And this one is the worst one.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to give it to you. You can read this last one.
Okay.
And you have to sing it.
I just have to sing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here I go.
This is Josh's big number.
Oh, what? You were playing a song the other day, and I think I know what this is. All right? Am I right in thinking the song I heard in the kitchen was this? Okay, cool. What if Cher didn't have a trust? Just a slob like one of us.
And they did keep that second line.
Oh, no way.
They did.
They would have had to pay so much money for that. Was Joan Osborne?
Joan Osborne.
What if God was one of us?
Yeah.
That was a time to be alive.
Yeah. Also, so was this. This did not go down well. This musical tanked.
Oh.
It has.
I think she got sued
royally
for this.
No.
That was approved.
Yeah. But what I love about this is that Amy Heckerling listened to the reviewers and changed it.
She pivoted because she's written a version now
with Katie Tunstall.
Katie Tunstall, Suddenly I See.
Yeah.
Well, she's great. She's a great writer.
Yeah. So she's done a whole new score. It just closed in the UK at the end of September, and it got really good reviews.
I'd like to see it.
I mean, look, I don't know whether I need to see it. I feel as though after Legally Blonde and Cruel Intentions and Heathers and Mean Girls, I don't know whether the world needs Clueless the musical.
Yeah, but they don't have Austen source material, and this does, so we have to be completists.
This is true.
You see?
There we go.
We couldn't complete this podcast without seeing it in real life. So sometime in the next however many episodes, we have to see the Clueless musical.
We have to go
If
to
you
London.
have a bootleg of that music, or you were in it and you want to send it to us, we will review it and we will do a pod on it.
Oh, I would love that.
I would really love that. Yeah. That would be super exciting. That would be such a crossover of everything that we like and love.
Yeah.
And then doing this at the same time.
Perfect.
What a shout out.
Amazing. What else do you want to say about Clueless? I think we're coming to the end of our Clueless time.
I think we're at the end of Clueless. I just think it's such a great movie. I saw Seth Rogen talk on the red carpet. You know those letterbox things, like what are your 4 favorite films? He's done this several times, so he's done different movies several times. But there's one came up where he talks about Clueless, and he talks about the fact that it is a perfect high school film, and that is one of his favorite movies because it's a perfect comedy.
Yeah.
It does, except for some of the things we may have mentioned and some of the sayings, pretty much stand the test of time.
Oh, but it remains also a beautiful snapshot of 90s life too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, it may be a little bit cringy to say.
But all comedies have that.
But but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so distinctly from 1995 that I think that that's winning.
Yeah, he talks about the fact that, he made Superbad, and Evan and he were like, if we make a perfect high school film like Clueless, we're doing well, which is a really big thing. So I just think that it has such cultural impact. I mean, I can't wait to show it to our kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they're going to love it and they're going to be obsessed with it. I mean, I came to it, I was in my 20s when it came out. So I got it and I watched it, and then I didn't really go back into it until we watched it for this. And watching it now as a 52-year-old man, I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah,
this is such good movie making. It's so great. Loving Emma like I love Emma now because of this podcast. It is so true to the major parts of Emma that I think it's an awesome interpretation, adaptation. I think it's really fabulous. Is it the greatest? No, I don't think that. But I think it could be one of the greatest Emmas.
You think Alicia Silverstone is one of the greatest Emmas?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. Look at me just throw that down. Wow. Just so cavalier. Yeah. Come at me. In the comments, you know where we are. I will come back at you and say, she is. I will chew that up and spit it back into your mouth in the comments.
Like a baby bird.
You
And
open your mouth like a baby bird for the content.
On that baby bird bombshell, we thank you for listening.
We do.
We say bye, bye, bye. And I want to say an especially warm goodbye to Peter for thinking David is a sexy vegan.
Wherever you are, Peter, I think the same of you. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, bye.